failure in sports. There's good days, bad days. Some days you are able to be successful, some days you're not. And that's what sports is about. You don't always win. We're going to come back next year, try to be better, try to build good habits, try to play better, not have a 10-day stretch with playing bad basketball. And hopefully we can win a championship.
But now it's like he's had enough of the waiting. Less than 4 years ago, Milwaukee was on top of the world, celebrating its first championship in 5 decades, and Giannis was the hero. Fast forward to today, just 2 weeks into the 2024-25 season, and the Bucks are nowhere near that level. With a shocking 1-6 record, they're looking like the league's biggest letdown. Sure, they're missing Chris Middleton, who's still rehabbing double ankle surgeries, but at 33, Middleton's return may only be a small bandage on a much bigger wound. The Bucks gambled big in the offseason, going all in for Damian Lillard, hoping he'd be the missing piece. But right now, that move feels like it pushed their title window to the edge of a cliff. And it's not just Milwaukee fans who are noticing. The NBA's rumor mill is heating up, and rival teams are starting to circle. One Western Conference executive even hinted that if the Bucks don't turn things around, they could face the unthinkable, being forced to trade Giannis. And here's where things get even trickier for Milwaukee. Giannis is their lifeline on both ends of the court. The moment he steps off, it's like the floor collapses beneath them. They're getting outscored by a brutal 18.5 points per 100 possessions with a defensive rating that's dead last in the league. Their first matchup with the Cavs was just another painful reminder. In the 9 minutes Giannis sat, Cleveland quickly gained ground, outscoring the Bucks by 6. So it's no wonder that with each loss, the rumor mill is cranking up louder. The Bucks might feel the need to make a big move, but their trade options are practically dried up. The blockbuster trades for Drew Holiday and then Damian Lillard left them without key assets. Their 2025, 2027, and 2029 first-round picks are already gone. Add to that potential pick swaps with New Orleans and Portland through 2030, and Milwaukee's future assets are pretty much spent. The only thing left in their back pockets is a 2031 unprotected first-rounder, but that alone probably won't cut it in any serious trade discussions. It gets even worse with the Bucks sitting $6.5 million over the luxury tax's second apron. They're stuck with strict limitations on any moves they might want to make. They can't even take $1 more in salary than they send out, and combining contracts to pull in a big-time player is off the table. What about moving Middleton, you might ask? He's sitting on a $31.7 million deal, but given his recent injuries and a potential $34 million player option for next year, his trade value might be shaky at best. Even the prospect of trading Marjon Beauchamp isn't likely to shake things up, as the Bucks can only flip him for another player on a near-minimum deal. Not exactly a game-changer. At just 29, Giannis has already carved his place among the game's legends with an NBA championship, 2 MVPs, and a Defensive Player of the Year title to his name. It once looked like the sky was the limit, but since that triumphant 2021 title run, things have taken a surprising turn. The Bucks have stumbled in the postseason with 2 first-round exits and a single second-round showing, a trend that's bound to test Giannis's patience. The recent blow came hard. Milwaukee's playoff dreams were cut short in the first round by the Indiana Pacers, marking an anticlimactic postseason debut for Damian Lillard as a Buck. When the Bucks brought in Lillard, the hope was clear. Add another all-time great, a fellow NBA 75 honoree, and finally push Giannis back into serious title contention. But Lillard's first year in Milwaukee didn't go as planned. Despite playing 65 games, his most since year 3, his scoring dipped below 25 points per game, and his efficiency, which had previously peaked with a 71-point game in 2022-23, faltered. For Giannis, watching a superstar like Lillard, a player brought in to be his partner in dominance, struggle to make the impact they'd hoped for has to be frustrating. He has already had a taste of championship glory, and he knows what it takes to win. But as the Bucks' playoff record continues to fall short, it's not far-fetched to think his mindset could be shifting. If this season doesn't bring a serious turnaround, Giannis might start to wonder if Milwaukee can truly match his ambitions. This season, the stakes couldn't be higher for Milwaukee's front office. They've got to keep their superstar happy, and with Giannis carrying so much of the load, the pressure is on. The Bucks' gamble on Damian Lillard hasn't paid off the way they'd hoped. Heading into his age 34 season, Lillard's production and efficiency are reasonable concerns. With each passing game and each narrow loss, Milwaukee's struggles might just be pushing Giannis to the edge. The idea of Giannis in a different jersey isn't a fresh rumor. Ever since his back-to-back MVPs, whispers of him potentially leaving Milwaukee have been a staple of the NBA rumor mill, especially after those early playoff exits. Before that 2021 championship run, many believed Giannis would bolt if things didn't turn around. Now, after a few disappointing seasons, the Bucks find themselves right back in that uneasy spot, wondering if Giannis's loyalty might finally be wearing thin. But with Giannis, actions speak louder than words. Last season, he put together one of the best statistical campaigns of his career. December was nothing short of spectacular, yet as January hit, the tables turned. Lillard's production dropped, with his efficiency taking a serious hit and Milwaukee's momentum stalled to a mere 8-7 record that month. Giannis set a new benchmark last season, becoming the only player in history to average over 30 points per game while shooting 60% from the field. He's doing things we've never seen, but that unmatched performance only adds to the urgency for Milwaukee to figure this out. So far this season, the Bucks have stumbled out of the gate with a shocking 1-6 start. The speculation around a potential Giannis trade has been simmering for a while, especially after last year's roller coaster, a year that brought in Damian Lillard, saw head coach Adrian Griffin's exit, and ended with the Bucks out of the playoffs sooner than anyone expected. When Griffin was released, Milwaukee was 17 games over .500 and sitting second in the East. Yet despite a solid regular season record of 49-33, the team couldn't escape a first-round defeat, losing in 6 to the Pacers after both Giannis and Lillard went down with injuries. Now, with Doc Rivers at the helm, Milwaukee's struggles have only deepened. And as much as the national media would love to see Giannis head to a big market like the Lakers, Knicks, or Nets, a surprising team could offer Milwaukee the assets they need to hit the reset button: the Houston Rockets. The Rockets have quietly assembled a compelling mix of young talent, draft capital, and flexible contracts that could make them an ideal trade partner. With the February 6th trade deadline looming, the Bucks are on a tight schedule to turn things around. If they can't get to at least a .500 record by Week 10, they're risking more than just a losing season. They're risking Giannis's patience. And while Giannis has shown loyalty through thick and thin, even he may have his limit. According to one NBA executive, there's confidence that Giannis will see out the full 2024-25 season in Milwaukee, but that timeline might shift quickly if the team continues to struggle. Should things go south, there's already buzz about where Giannis might land. The Miami Heat, Brooklyn Nets, Houston Rockets, and LA Clippers have emerged as potential destinations. But let's be real. For a player in his prime like Giannis, Brooklyn and LA are less than ideal fits. A Giannis trade would be a blockbuster, likely involving at least 2 star players and a stack of first-round picks. Realistically, only the Houston Rockets have the young talent and draft capital to pull it off without gutting their roster. For Miami, things could get interesting if they manage to keep Jimmy Butler and either Tyler Herro or Bam Adebayo post-trade. That kind of star power might just be enough to convince Giannis to take his talents to South Beach. But for now, the ball is in Milwaukee's court. They need to steady the ship and give Giannis a reason to stick around, shutting down trade chatter and securing their stars' loyalty. The Bucks are staring down a critical stretch, one that may determine the future of not just their season, but their franchise icon. Since 2020, Milwaukee's front office has been laser-focused on one mission: keep Giannis happy and give him every reason to believe in a championship future with the Bucks. Last season, with his free agency looming in 2025, they doubled down, sending out Holiday to bring in Damian Lillard in a desperate bid to keep their superstar satisfied. The gamble worked, at least in the short term. Giannis signed a massive extension shortly after, tying him to the Bucks until at least 2026-27. But now, after a full offseason together, those growing pains should be over, and yet here they are, off to a rough start with a dismal record just 2 weeks into the new season. For Giannis, the options are clear. He could demand a trade if the season continues to spiral, or he could wait out his contract and enter free agency in 2027. Either path could reshape not only Milwaukee's future, but the NBA as a whole. This season is more than just another chapter for the Bucks. It could be a turning point for the entire league, with every team watching closely to see if the Greek Freak stays loyal or decides it's time for a new beginning.